Welcome to the Band Practice Podcast. My name is Justin D. O'Brien of JD and the Second Act. Today, my guest is my lovely wife, Marcie O'Brien. Say hi.
Hello.
And we're just going to talk about, I don't know, kind of our own personal music history. So we were actually just listening to Tom Petty and Breakdown, a good live version too. Yeah, very, so, I don't know. I know for both of us personally, both Petty and that song.
Yeah. That was one of the best shows we've been to. Summerfest, for sure.
Yeah, Summerfest, Tom Petty at the Marcus, which is just a wonderful venue. I mean, so many magical experiences at the Marcus.
Rush.
Yeah, Rush is definitely a big, unbelievable. I mean, did we get fireworks both times?
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
It's pretty crazy being at the top of the hill during the middle of a Rush show and then get fireworks.
I think they actually stopped the show
for one time, yeah. So, yeah. I know Mike likes that song. I did it at Open Champ. Did I tell you that?
Which one?
So I did, not this past week. I did the week before.
Okay.
So I did two songs. I did an original. What did I play? I played Breakdown.
Mm-hmm.
What was my original? Shoot. Oh, I did 27 Club.
Okay.
And then so that was 2 weeks ago. I did Breakdown, because that's one of my covers that I'm consistently doing, because it's fun.
It's one of my favorite Petty songs, especially live. Yeah.
And then this past week at the Open Jam, I played, what song? Oh, I played Mistakes was my original from back in my Reject days. Mm-hmm. That's right, I call it my old songs.
Yeah.
Because I played that one, and then I played Green Day's Going to Pasacala from the first album.
Okay. Nice.
Those are the two songs I did solo.
Nice.
So, yeah. What else were we going to talk about? We're going to talk about, I think one of the highlights, I mean, gosh, so many concerts. I mean, of course, the big one to talk about would be Foo Fighters. But before we get there, I think two very specific experiences we wanted to talk about was Seven Dust. Let's talk about Seven Dust.
Seven Dust. They are a band like no other. They're so underplayed on every radio station in existence. They have such a library of music that is amazing.
Yep.
And
Agreed.
They're one of my favorite bands to see live. And I've seen them more than I can count and met them multiple times. And they're down to earth and awesome. Like, I'm so pissed off that you're going to be in Atlanta and I can't go to Green Bay to see them.
Yeah, that's a thing. I'm actually really mad that has to go down that way too, because did you look at any other dates before and after?
No.
Oh, okay.
Because I was just upset.
All right. Well, maybe that's something we'll do later. But yeah, no, I don't blame you, because Seven Dust is a really good show, really good band. Like, I was aware of them, but I think I really took a much deeper dive into them, you know, because of you.
They've frequented Milwaukee so much that I've seen them at the rave every time, except they did play Summerfest, and I got front row, and that was awesome.
Nice.
On a free stage.
Which stage?
1021, I think it was.
Oh, one of their stages.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was on the very north end of the Summerfest grounds.
Wow. But it's not that north one, but was it that north one?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, that one. That's a great stage at Summerfest.
Yeah, it is.
It really, like, there's a couple, like, that was JJ's.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
For Irish Fest in Milwaukee right now, Irish Fest is going on, and JJ McAuliffe of our local McAuliffe's Bar fame is running a stage at Irish Fest with a bunch of amazing musicians. And the two big ones to mention would be Red Hot Chili Pipers from Ireland.
Which we missed, by the way.
Oh, bummer.
By like an hour. Yeah.
Who are big and huge and amazing. And it's like they play these festivals, and then, sorry if I hit your toe, and then they play his pub. And like, he barely even has a stage, and he has like 10 guys and kilts and bagpipes and stuff. Like,
it's awesome.
It's amazing and awesome and crazy. And then Scurryvore was another one. I can't remember if they played before or after.
Last night they played after.
Okay. Did you see any of them? Did you miss them?
For a minute we saw them.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
Milwaukee festivals, man,
yeah.
they're awesome. You gotta walk around and just see, like, that was the first time I had actually walked around a festival other than Summerfest, really, and
yeah,
it's a really different experience. Like, Summerfest is jam-packed with people. Irish Fest was different.
Yeah. Well, I will say I've done Warped Tour there a couple times.
Okay.
And I mean, of course, that's a much different crowd and much different, even, vendors and stuff like that. But I know what you're saying. Like, Summerfest has its own thing and vibe, and
yeah, anybody can never make it to a Summerfest. You gotta go at least one day. It's an experience you won't forget.
I mean, I remember telling people at my work, who are around the country about Summerfest, and they're like, "You're kidding! There's that many bands playing."
Yeah.
Yeah, Summerfest is amazing, and we're actually, as music fans, very, very fortunate.
Yeah, like I was introduced to a lot of bands that way, and
totally.
Like bands that I've seen with Seven Dust, I was introduced to Skindred that way, Tantric that way. Saw live at Summerfest.
Yeah.
If you go early enough, you can get close up. You can potentially meet the band. You can, hang out with the people around you, and just people watching.
Oh.
People watching is just fantastic in Wisconsin in general, but.
Of course, but yeah, festival people watching is something else too.
Yeah, and let's see. I'm trying to think of what show that like has impacted me the most up there, and I think Seven Dust is like one of them because I've seen them in all different areas of that specific stage on the north end.
Yeah,
like I've been up close, I've been in the back, and they just somehow suck you into their music, and no matter where you're at, it's just fantastic.
Yeah, I remember, I think that first time we saw them at the rave main stage, before they switched guitars. Remember, the other guitars came back. That first show, I was like, something about that lineup was just like, wow.
Yeah.
It was a really, really good show.
Yeah. Yeah, I haven't been to a bad show for them. But, like, concerts in general, man, I've been to so many.
Right. Oh, of course.
So many shows. I don't have my stubs to all of them. I wish I did.
Yeah, that's a different conversation to have, too. It's just, go run through a bunch of random stubs.
But, like, as far as festivals concerned, I've really only been to Summerfest and then Ozfest.
Of course, Ozfest, yeah.
I only went once, but that was like an experience in itself, and just seeing Rob Zombie and Ozzy and Down and System of a Down. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, I'm a horrible Wisconsin person. I never went to an Ozfest.
No shit.
Yeah, well, because like the whole time basically I was working at Dave, so I would cover for all the people who were going already, and I was like, and I was, not that there was anything against it, but I was also in my, much more solidly punk phase, so I was saving up, time for punk shows and stuff too. So, but yeah, I know that's one where I'm like, oh man, I missed some good bands in their primes. On some really good stages. I mean, especially, that's one of those fun things about those festivals, whether it be Ozfest or Warped Tour, some of the second stages.
Yeah.
You get to see whether it's, whether they become big or not, just some very interesting acts, I mean, I'm not sure about whatever year you went. I mean, because that's one of those things too with Ozfest. Some of these bands would play the second stage one year, and then the next year they're playing the main stage.
Yep.
Because just that little bit of exposure gave them enough of a bump to jump back up.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm talking about the rave.
Yeah.
I want to talk about. We had a very specific experience with our friend Mike.
Yeah.
George Clinton. Now, first, this is my first and only Clinton show, but
so sad for you.
Yeah. So I know you've been to multiple.
Yes.
So, but that was amazing show, and an experience is a very
that's an understatement.
Understatement, yeah.
Yeah. Everybody once in their life has got to experience that at least once.
I mean, and
at least once. I mean,
we hit him and you hit him up in a very good era, for him. Besides, back in the very much in the day.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, can't be the 70s, but we still got him at a good time. Because, he was still doing great shows.
Yeah. And so many people on the damn stage. The show lasts forever.
Oh, that was one of the things I was saying to, I think, Carson. I was talking about this a little bit. I just said it was funny because George Clinton didn't come on stage for like 20 minutes.
Yeah.
When we saw him.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the way all of his shows that I've ever been to have gone, where he's not on stage the whole time. He's got other people, and they are all talented. The violinist, she's gorgeous, and then she can just rock the shit out of that violin.
And it's really funny.
Like crazy.
She is amazing. But that is not an environment you'd think a violin would work, and yet it does.
Yeah. They totally make it work somehow. Yeah. Like every individual artist that comes in on that stage, vocalists and, instrumental, they own it and they make it work.
Yeah. Well, even because they'll rotate in, the different drummers and guitars and basses. And even those basses, all those different people, it's funny, they keep the groove, but yet they're still so talented and individual. Mm-hmm. It's very interesting, to hear them in that environment and be able to compare them. You go, oh man, it'd be really great to hear this guitarist versus that guitarist, and then you get to kind of watch that kind of happen.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's actually, that kind of reminds me, which I wouldn't be able to say this, not too long ago. That reminds me of Mike when he was telling me when he went to Iron Maiden, the third guitarist, Janik, was having issues. So he totally went off stage.
Wow.
But, being able to have that much personnel that you can still, do that. That's the same thing with Clinton, where it's whatever, it's take a break, or, let's get a couple of people up here, or, or switch it out, or whatever it might be. It's pretty wild.
Yeah.
And then, the joke I think we made at the time was, so there's two backstage rooms.
Yeah.
And I don't know, it seemed like maybe one backstage room they were doing one specific thing, and the other backstage room they're doing something completely different. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I think we'll leave it at that, and everyone can let their imagination lead them.
Just go with it.
Where you want. But that was very interesting to not only watch it happen, but then go, oh, wait a second, it's happening enough that you can notice.
Yeah. And like with Clinton shows, you go there and you have the expectation you're going to have a good time, and
Right.
you know you're going to have a good time.
Right.
But then like once the show's done, like feels like 5-6 hours later,
Yeah.
you feel that shit the next morning.
Yeah.
For sure. But it is completely worth it.
Yeah.
Completely worth it just to experience once. And then he brings different people every time. I mean, he doesn't always,
True.
Having his granddaughter on stage and everything.
Well, she wasn't at the one we were at, I don't think.
I don't think she was.
Because then we also have, after that fact, we eventually got the Live at Montreux in, I think it's Quebec.
Yeah.
DVD and CD, and she's on there.
Right.
Because she has an amazing song on that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which, again, look that up. George Clinton, Live at Montreux, and look up his granddaughter's song. It's both amazing but also beautiful. I mean, it's again one of those things where it fits, but yet it's kind of out of left field. I don't know, in a way. It's something you wouldn't expect,
right?
But yet still fits, like the violin.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. So,
as a side note, with Clinton, totally check out him on NPR. It was like a year ago in January. It was the funniest fucking interview.
It was Wait, Don't Tell Me, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, that's right.
It's one of the best interviews. I loved it. Yeah. But I love Clinton, so.
Right. Oh yeah, and it's just his history and just him in general is just amazing, and I'm pretty sure I'll say this, but I know, of course, my pretty much introduction to George Clinton would be the movie PCU.
Yeah.
How about you?
Oh yeah. Totally.
Yeah.
Totally. I never envisioned me going to see him live, and I've seen him a handful of times live, and like every time it's been worth it, and I've had a blast.
Well,
so.
and that's one of those things too, where there's a certain, like, I forgot that, like, the Boss Tones are in Clueless.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, the first time I watched Clueless, I had no idea, and then like you go back, you're like, oh, wait a second. That's a real band playing real music, that was kind of like it for like George Clinton and PC. I was like, oh, okay, this is someone, this is, whatever it might be.
Yeah.
Like I knew it was a real band, but I didn't know how exaggerated it was, like for like PCU.
Right.
And then like, really looking at George Clinton, you're like, holy smokes. No, this is what he does.
Yeah. Legit shit.
Legit shit. Yeah, totally. Like that was not an act or, I mean,
what you see is what you get.
Yeah. Well, it wasn't like even acting like Green Day did King of the Hill. Mm-hmm. And they put like Trey Cool as the lead.
Yeah.
I think they were called Kane and the Stubborn Stains. Was the fictional Green Day on King of the Hill that they did voices for.
Nice.
So it wasn't like that. Like George Clinton played George Clinton in PCU.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. So.
Yeah.
But well, I think we can wrap it up there. So it was great talking about music with you.
Yeah, there's a lot more.
Yeah, I think Mike will be a good. I'm already setting up podcasts for Mike, and he doesn't even know it. Like he knows.
Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah, dun dun dun. Like he already knows about Mr. Jason Creel. I'm not going to tease that too much. I'll talk about that much more once it's much more in stone.
Yeah.
And once we get what our format or whatever it might be. So, but then we're also talking about Hamish, who was the vocalist who came in after Creel, having a conversation with Mike is going to be another great conversation. But I think, again, like the three of us could have a really good conversation too about music.
Oh yeah.
So I'll leave it at that. But I think we're going to call that the Vampires podcast for this week. Thanks a lot for listening, and talk to you next time.
Peace.